Welcome. Welcome to you all on this incredible day of recovery. I don't think I've really felt like myself for the last 4 years, but I will admit, I have cried a lot in the last 48 hours. They have been tears of joy, tears of relief. But my friends, we are back. And to all of our allies and friends around the world, thank you for welcoming us home with open arms. We have now already rejoined the World Health Organization. We'll rejoin the Paris Agreement on climate change within the next 30 days. Our President Biden, that sounds so good, has issued an executive order revoking Trump's harsh and extreme immigrant enforcement, and to set immigration policies in line with the Biden administration's values and priorities. President Biden has also signed an executive order that creates a position for COVID-19 response. You would think that that would have existed already, but it has not. And that is why we are looking at the very likely and horrific possibility that we will lose 500,000, 500,000 Americans by February. But now there will be, for the first time, a national effort to combat COVID. And President Biden has also directed all federal agencies to immediately review and take appropriate actions to address Trump-era policies or regulations that are damaging to the environment or public health. So we are certainly on our way back to being the America that we can be proud of and that we believe in, and the America that the majority of us believe is the America that represents the best of what we stand for. So I, like many of you, watched the inauguration through tears of joy. It was flawless, and so many things could have gone wrong, and there were so many concerns about the security, but thank goodness it was a flawless inauguration, and President Biden gave the speech of his life, and a speech that is already being recognized as one of the greatest inaugural addresses in American history. He spoke about unity, equality, and dignity. Dignity. It was quite the star-studded performance with Lady Gaga, Jennifer Lopez, Garth Brooks. But for me, the artist who stole the show was a 22-year-old poet named Amanda Gorman from Los Angeles. And, we were just talking about the power of words, the inherent value that words hold to inspire or to incite negative actions. And this was a perfect example of that conversation we just recently had, the power of words. And this also demonstrates why art is so important. Because I think art has the ability to cut through, all of the stuff that distracts us, and it gets right to the heart of the matter, the real issues, the real emotion. And I think we may forget a lot of the speeches that we heard, but I don't think any of us will ever be able to forget the poem that Amanda recited. The Hill We Climb. So I'm going to share a link with you. So if you haven't had the privilege of actually seeing Amanda perform this poem, please, it's 5 minutes. Take 5 minutes and watch it. Because it's not just her words, it's the way she delivered them. And it is of epic proportions, what she accomplished. So I'll give you a little bit of a background on Amanda. Amanda is a young woman who fell in love with poetry at a very young age. She distinguished herself quite early on as a rising talent. She was raised in LA to a single mom who is a middle school teacher. And when she was a little girl, she would write in her journals at the playground. Reminds me of myself at that age. At 16 years old, she became the Youth Poet Laureate of Los Angeles. And a few years later, while she was studying sociology at Harvard University, she became the very first National Youth Poet Laureate. It was a position they created for the first time. So Amanda was invited to speak at the inauguration by the First Lady, Jill Biden, when Jill heard Amanda do a poetry reading at the Library of Congress. So Amanda said that she was really struggling to finish her work, and she felt exhausted. I know that feeling, do you? And she was worried she wasn't up to the task. I know that feeling as well. She said, and I quote, "I had this huge thing, probably the most important thing I'll ever do in my career. It was like if I try to climb this mountain all at once, I'm just gonna pass out." So I relate to those words because it's exactly how I felt when I was asked to perform at Carnegie Hall. Just thinking of the significance of that stage. I was going to be standing on a stage where Sarah Vaughan and Nina Simone and Duke Ellington, the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, Billie Holiday, all these artists had stood. But it pales in comparison to what Amanda had to face and to achieve. She wasn't just on a Carnegie Hall stage, not to make that insignificant, but Amanda was on a world stage. And she had to somehow write a poem that would inspire a nation, inspire Americans to find this collective sense of purpose. And not only to find this sense of purpose, but at a time when we are absolutely reeling from a deadly pandemic, from political violence that we've never seen in our lifetimes, and from this kind of partisan division that we've also never known in our nation's history, not like it's been displayed to the world in these past weeks. So Amanda dug in, and she wrote a few lines every day. And then when she was about halfway through the poem, January 6th happened, when pro-Trump rioters stormed the Capitol with weapons and Confederate flags. And Amanda knew that she couldn't turn away from these events, but she had to find a way to address them. So she worked late into the night and finished the poem, adding verses about the apocalyptic scene that unfolded at the Capitol that day. And I would like to share with you now a few lines of one of those verses from Amanda's poem, The Hill We Climb. We've seen a force that would shatter our nation rather than share it, would destroy our country if it meant delaying democracy. And this effort nearly succeeded. But while democracy can be periodically delayed, it can never be permanently defeated. That's Amanda Gorman's The Hill We Climb. Amanda captured the moment in verse. Why is poetry so powerful? Why these words without music have such impact? And I think it is because poetry reminds us that we are all alive. The simplicity of the words. Poetry is meant to be our companion through every stage of our life, through every struggle, through every challenge and achievement, through every stage of our societal awareness. I think poetry really does have the ability to inspire us. Amanda makes that abundantly clear. It highlights a previously unknown narrative. It brings it to the forefront and really enables us to have our own personal dialogue. It makes us think critically. And it just, in simple terms, allows us to feel our humanity, allows us to feel our connection with each other. That's the power of poetry. In Conversations on the Craft of Poetry, which was written in 1961 by Robert Frost, he said, and I quote, "Poetry is what is lost in translation." So when I'm out on tour, there's a few books that I travel with. They bring me comfort. They provide inspiration. They reground me. And one of them is my poetry book from Emily Dickinson. And it's amazing how her words can help just rebalance my life in such a comforting way. And just reading through a few of her poems when I'm feeling challenged, when I'm feeling a little bit anxious about a particular show, or if I'm struggling with a certain song, her poetry just brings me right back to this sense of calm and this grounding. And I'm reminded of a bigger perspective that just makes everything make more sense. The power of poetry. And the sheer power of words were put so clearly on display by Amanda's poem, as she spoke of unity and reconciliation and healing These are the words of the future. They're our future. And these words belong to all of us. So I would like to leave you today with a few more words from Amanda's poem, The Hill We Climb. And yet, the dawn is ours before we knew it. Somehow we do it. Somehow we've weathered and witnessed a nation that isn't broken, but simply unfinished. Thank you all for joining me. I'll see you in the chat shortly, and I look forward to seeing you next week.